everybody, Lisa here from Cool Kids Hub. Today I wanted to talk about a 7-month-old sleep schedule. What does a schedule look like? What are some of the potential problems you might encounter at the 7-month mark, as well as share some tips on how you can improve your little one's sleep. Now, at this age, you're really going to see your baby really developing. They're starting to scoot around. They might be able to sit up unassisted. They start really babbling a lot in their little baby, babbling voice. And it's hard to believe they were ever a newborn. They might even be knowing what is their favorite toys and wanting to pick those or grab them if they can. And they're very vocal when they're not happy about something at this age. Now, first of all, you might be wondering, how much sleep does my 7-month-old need? Your 7-month-old needs around 14 hours of sleep. Now, this can vary by baby, anywhere between 12 and 16 hours, but the average is about 14 hours within the 24-hour period. Now, lots of 7 months are still taking 3 naps, and if they haven't dropped that third nap, they probably will start to do so quite soon. They will generally nap for 2 to 4 hours in total in the day, and they should be starting to have really consolidated their night sleep and be sleeping around 11 hours, of which they can at this age do that in one continuous stretch. Now, if your baby is not quite there yet, don't worry about that. They will consolidate their sleep, and there are some things you can do to help your little one to sleep through the night and to sleep better and start to consolidate that sleep. So what are some sleep tips to help your little one really start to develop those healthy sleep habits? Well, the first thing is you want to prepare them for sleep. This means you want to be having that consistent routine that you follow for naps and for bedtime, so that you're sending those sleep signals to your little one. Naps, it might be as simple as when your little one wakes up for a nap, you're feeding them, you're having a little bit of play, it's change, and it's a little lullaby, and then it's down for bed. Bedtime, will involve bathing. If they've cut those first teeth, you want to be taking a wet cloth and just rubbing that over their first teeth, or even a wet finger. And then, you might give them a baby massage, a change, a final, feed and a book, and then it's down for bed. But you're following that same pattern. So it sends those sleep signals to your little one that now is the time for sleep. The second sleep sort of tip is no screen time. Now, you might be thinking, my little one's only 7 months old, but they are becoming a lot more interactive. So they're starting to gravitate towards things like, say, the TV when it's on, or they might even be wanting to grab your phone if it's close enough by. But you really don't want to be giving them screen time. In actual fact, the American Academy of Pediatrics recommends no screen time under the age of 2 years old. But if you are giving your little one some screen time, you definitely don't want to be giving them screen time close to bed, because this definitely interrupts their sleep. You want that time before bed to really be a time where it's just quiet and calm. A book or a lullaby is a far better way to just wind your little one down before bed. The sleep tip 4 is to keep your baby really active in their day. They can go for longer stretches now, 2 to 3 hours of awake time, and you want to be making sure they're really active in that time. You're giving them lots of time to practice their newfound skills, sitting up, starting to scoot or crawl. They should definitely be rolling, still getting the strength for some tummy time. And take walks, go at the park, or introduce new toys. But you want to be keeping them kind of really now entertained and interactive in the day. And then the fourth tip is really prioritize your naps. Now, I know it's not always easy if you've got other children to put your baby down for sleep in the same place, but where possible, be putting them down for their naps in their crib, in their bed, for every nap where possible. But also, you don't often, because they get to the stage where they might just be ready to drop a nap, you might find them fighting some of those naps. But make sure you're not just dropping the nap if they're not ready. What you might find is that last nap of the day, especially if they haven't dropped that last nap, is quite a short nap, which is very common until they sort of drop that. Now, what does a sleep schedule look like? By now you should definitely be starting to see that consistency to your little one's sleep. Like I said, every baby is different, and some babies at 7 months might still be on 3 naps while some are on 2. I'll put a link in the description to this video of a sort of a guideline of a schedule of what a schedule should look like for a 7-month-old, but you won't be able to stick to that rigidly. The schedule that I've put there is for a baby that's on 2 naps, but your little one might be on 3 naps and still be taking that last short nap before the end of the day. So just use the schedule as a guide. Now, other question parents ask at the 7-month mark, particularly if their baby is not sleeping through the night, is can I sleep train my baby? Now, sleep training often conjures up, horror images for parents, and I actually even hesitate to use the word sleep training. For me, it's more about creating those healthy sleep habits for your baby. But it is a personal choice whether or not you want to sleep train your little one. But at this age, they developmentally can go through the night without requiring a feed, and they are able to self-soothe at this age. Now, if you have been rocking your baby to sleep or feeding them to sleep, it's going to be more challenging for them to self-soothe, which means when they wake up in the night, they are going to be looking for you to help them get back to sleep. So if you're not getting those continuous stretches, you may want to consider sleep training. Remember that sleep training, there's lots of different methods of sleep training that go from being very, very gentle with basically little to no crying right up to cry it out. So choose a method that is right for you and your little one. I'll put a link in the description of this video to a video that I did on 5 different sleep training methods, as well as a recommendation for a sleep training program that I used to sleep train my son. But it is a personal choice. But developmentally, your baby at this age can sleep through the night. So if your baby's not, you might want to consider that. Now, what are some of the sleep problems you might encounter at the 7-month mark? Well, the first one is fighting sleep for a couple of reasons. First of all, they're interactive and they're starting to enjoy being awake. They're starting to enjoy being in your company and playing with their toys and seeing all these new things. So they actually don't want to go to sleep. And also, like I said, some babies now are dropping that 3rd nap, so they start to fight sleep. If your little one is really fighting, sleep, don't just say, oh, they don't need to sleep, because they do need the sleep. Still make sure you're keeping your awake windows. You can transition them from 3 to 2 naps if you see your little one is really, fighting that last nap. And this might mean just some adjustment to your schedule or your routine in the day. You might need to bring your bedtime forward for a little bit until your little one settles into that new routine. But don't just not put them down for naps, because they do still need that sleep. The other thing is teething can be quite disruptive to your baby's sleep at this age. Some babies go through teething with no problems, whereas other babies do struggle a little bit with their gums being really sore. If you think that's the cause of your little one waking, teething rings can really help to soothe their gums. But if you're really concerned, talk to your pediatrician around what other pain relief you can give your baby. And then the third probably challenge that parents face at this age is early morning wakings. Now, generally, if your baby is waking between 6 a.m. and 7 a.m., that's a perfectly normal awake time for your baby at this age. So whilst you might not really want to start your day that early, that is actually a common or normal, perfectly normal awake window. If your baby is waking up before that, like 5 a.m., that would be considered an early morning waking. Now, there's a few things you can do. You can try feeding them at 5 a.m., giving them a bit of a change and putting them back down, although some babies don't want to. You can maybe look at shifting their bedtime half an hour later to get that little bit of extra sleep in the mornings. But don't keep them up very late thinking, if I keep them up late and they're really, really tired, they'll sleep longer. This really very rarely works. They'll generally still wake up early, and then all that you've got is a cranky baby on your hands. So rather try and maybe just shift your bedtime out by half an hour and see if that gives you a little bit of extra time in the beginning. But it is normal at this age for babies to wake up early. You can of course try make sure your room is quite darkened, so that if you stay in an area that 5 a.m. is already getting light, that can make your baby wake up. So if you can block out some of that light, that can also help. Now, another question that parents ask is there a 7-month sleep regression? Now, I want to say in that first year, particularly, there are lots of developmental milestones that actually cause sleep disruptions. So teething, crawling, rolling over. But these are not regressions in the true sense of the word. The only true sleep regression happens at that 4-month mark. And the reason I say that is when your baby is physically going through a sleep development. At the 4-month mark, your baby's sleep cycle matures from that of a baby into a more of an adult sleep cycle, and their sleep stages move from 2 to 4. So physically, your baby's sleep is undergoing a change. And this is when a lot of parents, and if your baby's already 7 months, you may have experienced this, that your baby goes through a lot of disruptions at that 4-month mark. That doesn't mean there will not be disruptions to your baby's sleep, like I said, particularly in the first 12 months, because there are so many developmental milestones. But they're not true sleep regressions. However, there could be disturbances at the 7-month mark, and one of the most common causes for that is teething. So just be aware of that. Look for some pain relief if you can, and just know it will pass. The teeth will cut and your little one will settle back down again, but it's not a sleep regression as such. It really is just a disturbance to their sleep caused by something that they're learning typically at that age. And that is really it for a 7-month-old sleep and sleep schedule. I'll put the links that I've of the videos and free resources that I've referred to throughout the video in the description to this video. Till next time, bye.